The life of someone like Deborah was taken because of the law of blasphemy. There was a Kano singer who sang a song, and they said the song he sang is against something about religion, and they sentenced him to death.
Hello, welcome to this channel. There is this video I came across and I would like us to watch it together. But before we do that, please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do that. Click on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell to keep being part of this. Then as you watch, do not forget to react and also drop your comments in the comment section.
The life of someone like Deborah was taken because of the law of blasphemy. There was a Kano singer who sang a song, and they said the song he sang is against something about religion, and they sentenced him to death. And it took Amnesty International, seeking for appeal from across the world to condemn the blasphemy law in Nigeria, but all could not avail. But today is a very bright day when it comes to the issue that we have been talking since, the law of blasphemy in Nigeria, okay? Because the law is putting people in bondage. Let me put it in that way, because you don't know what to say again. When you exercise your right, they say it's blasphemy and so on and so forth. So the good news today is that the ECOWAS court has ordered Nigeria to amend Kano's blasphemy laws, cites human rights violation. Now, to start with, Nigeria is in total bondage, especially some persons that are also living in part where Sharia law is dominant and upon them. In a situation that you must obey it, like if you used to drink beer, you can't drink beer there. There are some things you do, you can't do it. If you own a hotel there, you obey the law there. But when it comes to the South, everybody do what they like. You're a Muslim, you're a Christian, nothing like blasphemy law, nothing like ecclesial law, nothing like Muslim. Everybody live freely. But in the North, some states, you must just abide to the, that, what is it called, Sharia law. Let me put it in that way. So these are the issues that has been troubling a lot of us since. And we became afraid when the majority of the House of Representatives came and said they want to remove the persona in the Sharia law in Nigerian Constitution. Remember that some time ago we talked about this in my video, one of my videos that I made about when Obasanjo, assumed office, and later to appease some people, he allowed them to put Sharia law in Nigerian Constitution. That was so dangerous. I'm not against Sharia law if it is in a Sharia country. Everybody have their own right to practice what you want to practice. Okay? If you want to be this, be whoever you want to be. So that has nothing to do with people's consent. But you cannot say that, oh, you want to live with other people that doesn't belongs to your religion, and you start imposing all these things on them. And I want to tell you this categorically, that the reason why people are not talking about the issue of Deborah is because they said what she said was blasphemous. That is the reason why if you talk about the issue of Deborah, people will keep quiet. To the extent that Al-Haji Atiku Abubakar deleted his tweets. See how serious it was. So it was very dangerous thing the people of Nigeria are facing, especially the Christians who are living in this part of the country. Now, let us understand the beginning to the end, A to Z, of the ECOWAS court ordering Nigeria to amend or stop the Kano State blasphemy laws. Now, it reads that ECOWAS court ordered Nigeria to amend Kano's blasphemy laws, cites human rights violation. Now, this is the details of the article. The ECOWAS Community Court of Justice has delivered a landmark judgment declaring Kano State's blasphemy laws unconstitutional under international human rights standards, ordering the Nigerian government to repeal or amend the provisions. In a suit filed by the Incorporated Trustees of Expression, now Human Rights Initiative, marked ECW/CJG/APP/41/23, the court found that specific sections of Kano's penal and Sharia penal codes violate the right to freedom of expression as protected by regional and international treaties. The court ruled that Section 210 of the Kano State Penal Code and Section 382B of the Kano State Sharia Penal Code Laws 2000 are incompatible with Article 9.2 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and Article 19 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Now, out of the article, there was a time I studied principle of Nigerian law, something like that, or principle of laws, okay? In that book, I realized that before any law could be put into working or before anything could be put into law, it will pass 3 tests. One is compatibility test, one is public policy test, and one is repugnancy test. And that is what the ECOWAS court is saying, that this law is repugnant to natural justice and equity. This law is not compatible with existing laws of human rights when it comes to African Charter, African Rights and People's Charter, and also international, human rights laws. It violates them. So how can the law stand? Now, the article continues that a 3-member judicial panel comprising Justice Ricardo Goncalves, the president, Justice Segun Koroma, and Justice Dugbe Atoki delivered the unanimous ruling on Friday, that is today. The judgment comes amid growing concerns over the use of blasphemy laws to suppress dissent and target religious minorities. The human rights group urged that these laws have led to arbitrary arrest, prolonged detention, and death sentences, while also fueling vigilant violence and mob justice. The ruling now places pressure on the Nigerian government to ensure compliance by amending or repealing the offending laws to align with its international human rights obligation. Section 210 was criticized for its vagueness, as it fails to clearly define what constitutes an insult to religion, falling short of the legal clarity required under human rights law. Now, out of the article, what the canon blasphemy law says that once you say something that insults a religion, now they did not come out to say the specific thing. So you can say anything, they will just put it that, oh, this thing insults our religion, they will kill you. It doesn't make sense. Okay? Now, section 382B, which prescribes the death penalty for insulting the Prophet Muhammad, was ruled excessive and disproportionate in a democratic society, the statement added. Now, this clearly does not mean that they are not respecting their religion. This judgment does not mean that they are not respecting the Prophet Muhammad. So this ruling is not just against it, but this ruling is trying to correct so many things that we have been saying before, that this is, these laws is excessive. That any little thing they say you will do this, any little thing you do this, any little thing you do that. In a democratic society, it ought not to be. And these are the reasons why sometimes we come out to tell you that Nigeria is not sustainable. Because when you have all these, this side parties another law, this side parties another law, it's a clear definition that is not a nation. What is a nation? So, let me continue the article. We say, while the court acknowledged states' interest in maintaining public order and respecting religious sensibilities, it noted that such interests must be balanced against individuals' fundamental rights. A balance cannot law fail to achieve. The court, however, did not find sufficient evidence to support allegation that the Nigerian state had failed to prevent mob violence related to blasphemy accusations, stating that media reports alone did not meet the legal threshold or proof. The court ordered the Nigerian government to repeal or amend the relevant provisions and similar laws to align with international legal standards. Accordingly, the court declared that it has jurisdiction to hear the case, declared the application admissible only as it concerned the right to freedom of expression. Declared that Section 210 of the Kano State Penal Code and Section 382 of the Kano State Sharia Penal Code, Laws 2000, are incompatible with Nigerians' obligations to protect freedom of expression. Order the Federal Republic of Nigeria to repeal or amend the identifying legal provisions and similar laws to align with Article 9.2 of the African Charter. the end of the article. For me, I think I love this so much. I love this so much because if people did not rise up to make sure that they challenge all these things that is going on, people will just continue to be living under bondage. And that is what has been happening in Nigeria. People has been living under bondage. Bondage of religion, bondage of political cause, bondage of corruption, every now and then, bondage. Anyway, but this is just 0.00%, 0.001% of the problem we have in Nigeria. The major problem we have is insecurity, which is a tool they are using for Islamization, for fundamentation. I think it is a call that every Nigerian must rise against it. Okay, if you talk, you will die. If you did not talk, you will die. So it is time for everybody to rise up, because even people who are afraid that when they talk, something might happen to them, they themselves are seeing themselves, becoming the victim of what they are running away from. So it is time for us to call a spade and make sure that we do everything necessary to defend ourselves, our territory, and anything that belongs to us. Because as I used to say, you have a right to live. It's number one thing. You have a right to live. Nobody has the right to come and take away your life.
Thank you for watching this video. Please leave your contribution in the comment section and also do well to subscribe. I'll see you in my next video.